I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Badruddin and I head the business development for Rockwool. Taking you all through the presentation today. The subject for today's presentation is how to choose the right insulation material. So I'll be taking you all through the different insulation materials that are available in the mineral wool family, what Rockwool is all about, what do we do, our background, the businesses that we have, and most importantly, as a consultant or as a client or as a designer, when you are choosing insulation, what are the design considerations you have in mind and what you should probably check while selecting insulation. So we start with the first thing. This is really very interesting. Okay, I'm sorry, I think it's the wrong thing that's being played. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry. So coming back to the most important part of this, presentation is that I think a lot of people here and in fact outside in the market, we have a confusion regarding this term rock wool. I mean, a lot of people consider that as a product name. Lot of people consider that as a generic name and so on. So I'll take this opportunity to clarify that rock wool is not a product. Rock wool is a brand. Okay. And Rockwool is a Danish company which started in the year 1937, and it's a 83, 84-year-old company. And we are the biggest manufacturers of this material, which is actually called as stone wool. So whenever you're going to the market and asking for Rockwool, please be cautious that Rockwool is not a generic name or it's not a product. It's a brand. It's a Danish company. And the generic product that you're actually looking for is stone wool. So that is what you should ask for. As I mentioned, Rockwool as a company, it's a 83, 84-year-old company. We have we had a net sales of approximately 2,600 million euros last year. And you'll be surprised to know that we do only one thing, and that is manufacturing of stone wool insulation across the world. And what we are essentially doing is that we are converting basalt rock into fibers. We are melting the basalt rock that is coming out of a volcano, and we are converting that to fibers. And that's the reason of stone wool having such rich properties. Because basalt rock, as a natural and abundant resource in India and everywhere, it has got certain very, very good strengths, like very good fire resistance, very good thermal performance, very good acoustic performance, and so on. So when we are converting or melting rock into fiber, all the properties that a rock has gets replicated into our material as well. So that's the reason it is called as stone wool. And again, just to clarify that Rockwool is our own brand and we are proud of that, and Stonewool is the name of the product. Moving on. Now, again, there is a very, very common term and a lot of misconception here as well, is that a lot of people ask for mineral wool sometimes, that I want mineral wool of so-and-so density and so-and-so thickness. Again, let me clarify the fact, there is no material called as mineral wool. Mineral wool is the name of the family of fibrous insulation materials. So all the materials that you are seeing on the screen, glass wool, slag wool, stone wool, or ceramic wool, they all fall under the mineral wool family. So if you actually see, for glass wool, for example, molten glass is the main ingredient that is being used to manufacture glass wool. So that's the main mineral that is used, and that's why it's called glass wool. Same thing goes for slag wool. For slag wool, blast furnace slag that comes out of a steel industry, that is used as the main mineral, and that's why it's called slag wool. We fall under the third category, that is stone wool, where basalt rock is used as the main mineral or the main ingredient, and that's why it's called stone wool. So next time, if you are drafting specifications or BOQs, please do not mention mineral wool with so and so density and so and so thickness. Please be specific. What is the what mineral wool that you need from this category? Whether you need glass wool, stone wool, slag wool, and so on. That will make things really clear for you and for the project. Otherwise, the contractor is free to choose whichever you want, whichever he can select anything from the mineral wool family. Moving next, this is the, these are the businesses that we have globally. First thing, Rockwool technical insulation. We manufacture Rockwool for the process industry, wherever you have equipments like the process plants, the equipment insulation like pipe work, the boilers, the furnaces. So we manufacture insulation for that. So that falls under the Rockwool technical insulation. Next is the Rockwool fire safe insulation, the insulation that we are manufacturing for the buildings. That includes insulation for roofing, whether it's a double skin roof, whether it's a single skin roof, or whether it's a overdeck insulation. And insulation for walls as well, whenever it's a dry wall partition or whenever it's an external wall, all that insulation falls under the Rockwool fire safe insulation. The third category that we are dealing into in India is the Rockwool core solutions. Rockwool core solutions is the insulation that we are manufacturing for prefabricated sandwich panels. So we do not manufacture sandwich panels directly. We manufacture the core, and then we are supplying it to the different OEMs across India who use our material as the core in their sandwich panels, and then they supply to the site. So I think, probably just taking the point that Mr. Rathi said in the beginning about steel walls having 2 hours of fire rating. So this is the solution that is actually for that. That the sandwich panels which are manufactured using Rockwool as the core solution, they have a 2 hour of fire resistance, backed up by all the certificates and everything. The remaining businesses like Lapinus, Rockphone, Rock Panel, and Grodin, these are the other businesses which we are not really operating in India. We are doing it in other parts of the world, so I will not really focus on that. Okay, now coming to the third part of the presentation, how to choose the right insulation material. Well, I think all the people who are sitting over here, whenever you think about insulation, I think these are the first 3 things that come to your mind: fire performance, thermal performance, and acoustic performance, which is absolutely right. Now, as I showed in the earlier slide, you have a choice of insulations like glass wool, stone wool, slag wool, and so on. And ideally, you want a material which will satisfy all of these. Okay, there will be a possibility where you will get thermal performance and acoustic performance, but you will not get fire performance. There is a possibility of getting fire and acoustic and not the thermal performance as required. So out of that segment, okay, if I can compare maybe a generic glass wool would give you very good thermal performance and acoustic performance, but you'll have to check whether it is giving you the right fire performance or not. Same thing goes for a slag wool. Slag wool, because it is made out of metal, it may give you fire performance or it may give you acoustic performance, but we have to check whether it is giving you the right thermal performance, especially over a longer period of time or not. Now, to summarize the point, stone wool, the material that we are manufacturing, stone wool, is the only material which will satisfy all the primary criteria. That includes fire, because the melting point of our material is more than 1150 degrees Celsius, which is actually more than a 2-hour fire temperature. The fire after like 10 minutes reaches 600 degrees Celsius. After 1 hour, it reaches around 925 degrees Celsius. And after 2 hours, it reaches around 1049 degrees Celsius. So our material is absolutely fire safe even after 2 hours of fire, because the melting point is more than 1100 degrees Celsius. Thermal performance, it is a porous material with a lot of air pockets inside. So it absorbs the heat, and that's why the thermal conductivity is as low as 0.033. Acoustic performance, again, it's an open cell material, so it has the tendency or has the capability of absorbing sound. So the noise reduction coefficient of the material itself is more than 1.0, which means it absorbs 100% of the sound. Not only the primary criteria, coming to the secondary criteria, because it is made out of a rock, it has very good mechanical strength. Secondly, Rockwool follows a certain Rockwool fiber chemistry, and that gives the dimensional stability to the material. So our material does not sag. There's no disintegration of fibers. There is no growth of any kind of mold or fungus or anything of that sort, which is like a common experience maybe you all have with other kind of materials that you are using so far. And most importantly, our material has got very good resistance to water or water repellency, because every strand or every fiber of our material is coated with a special oil while manufacturing. So we keep an open challenge that you take a sample of our material, put water on it, no water will get absorbed. Break the sample, put water on the fibers which are inside, no water is going to get inside, because water repellency is directly connected to the thermal performance. 1% of moisture absorption, 25% reduction in the thermal performance. So you need to be very, very sure and about the water repellency of the insulation that you are choosing. As I mentioned, Stonewool insulation has a all-round performance to satisfy all the primary as well as secondary criteria. This is the last part. Now, the solutions that we are offering for a building. So we have a different range of insulation products that we have designed or engineered as per the category. We have a special insulation material for single skin and double skin roof, which is called as Cool and Comfort, okay, which has got very good thermal conductivity, very low thermal conductivity to give you very good thermal performance. We have a special solution for overdeck insulation, insulation that has a very high compressive strength, very good point load capability, and so on, to give you, that is what is required for an overdeck insulation probably. Then we have a special insulation solution for dry walls, because probably you need fire performance and acoustic rather than thermal for a dry wall. So we have a special insulation for that as well. And the fourth category, as I mentioned earlier, we have insulation solutions for prefabricated or metal sandwich panels as well. Because in that, the strength, the compressive strength, the shear strength, and the tensile strength of the insulation material is very, very critical. So that's the material that we are manufacturing for a sandwich panel. So just keeping this slide for you all to have a look regarding the solutions that we are offering. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to serving you all in future.